where to start with lean? How do we even begin?
Once you've asked the question, well, what do you really want to do? Then everyone says, well, yes, I need to reduce my operating expense and I need more customers. And then you say, well, they're the answers everyone gives me. So what are you really after? If they're after to reduce operational expense, so you want to hold your clients where they are, you hold your margins where they are, and you want to strip the waste out of your operations expense, that's not a bad idea. You've got dollars leaving your pocket as cash flow out, and those dollars aren't in your pocket. So putting them back in your pocket, increase your margin, makes the business more viable. One of the other things that you could do is you're drawing in new and repeat customers. And I know you've talked about the Western Australian situation in the past, where you've got more customers than you can shake a stick at. Differentiating between you and your competitors, you can get a bit lazy in that boom mentality. And, you can get a reputation of not delivering what the client asks for. So in West Australia, I know labour demand is one of those things that if you can deliver the labour, everybody's delighted. And if you can't, they just call someone else. When the tide goes back out and things go back to normal, you probably want to be the one differentiated in the market as being the one who says, yes, I can, and does, or no, that's not me, and the customer goes to someone else. You don't want to be the yes, I can, and then you don't deliver. So, knowing what you really want to do with lean, there are quick fixes out there for some of the problems that clients face. So lean isn't always the hammer and everything's a nail. That if you've got a short-term problem, I'm going to go out of business tomorrow, lean cycle time and the investment up front to deliver might not be for you. You might want to take a more private equity mindset of taking absolute control over your cash outflows, putting a halt to any new purchase orders that your team are putting in, and reviewing every piece of expense, because if you don't, you'll be out of business by Friday. Lean isn't the quick fix, it's more the journey. And when I think about the journey from a customer point of view, I think about the old story that I learned in Namibia once about the lion on the veld. Have you heard that story before?
No.
It's a pre-COVID story because, you're in Africa, maybe Namibia, maybe Botswana, depending on what takes your fancy. And there were two Aussies in a camp out in the veld doing a bit of a tour, one from Perth and one from Darwin. The African locals are out there getting supplies, probably some 4X or some MU lager, depending on which state or territory won that argument, and left the two Aussies in camp. And all of a sudden, out in the veld, of course, you hear a lion roar, especially late afternoon, early evening. And the one from Darwin starts tying on his boots. So he's putting on his boots and tying up the laces good and tight and looking around a bit nervously. And the person from Perth says, well, look, mate, we can't outrun a lion. Why are you bothering tying up your boots, mate? And the person from Perth says, well, I don't need to outrun the lion, I just need to outrun you. And it's a good study of that competition. You don't need to adopt lean to get the mission accomplished banner and say, I beat lean. All you actually need to do is beat your competition. The worst thing that can happen is your competition get wise to your tricks and start copying what you do. But that's why lean's a journey, that you just come up with a new thing. Exactly.
So never-ending cycle of improvement.
Yep. So, we say to the CEO that lean is an attitude with a toolbox. We might say to the more ops leaders, well, lean's a bit like the story of the lion on the veld, that all of this demand that's coming into Western Australia, we know that it will come to an end. We don't know what day, we don't even know what week or month. But when it does, do you want to be the one saying, I can't outrun the lion, Or do you want to be the one from Darwin tying up your bootlaces and get ready to outrun the other person?